Students of 9th standard, today is the 7th day of our lecture and we have started the 4th lesson, that is from section A, that is nothing but measurement of matter. Now in today's lecture we are going to see Avogadro's number. Before that we have seen atomic radius, atomic mass, then again various laws we have seen. How to determine the molecular mass. These all things we have taught. Now we are going to see the Avogadro's number. So what does the Avogadro's number tells us? See here. The number of molecules in 1 mole of any substance is constant. That means what? If we consider the number of molecules are considered in 1 mole. That means number of molecules in 1 mole of any substance. The substance may be whichever also. If we consider any substance, then the number of molecules in 1 mole will be constant. It is called as the Avogadro's number. This number is called as the Avogadro's number because it was given by Avogadro scientist. Therefore, it is called as the Avogadro's number. And it is denoted by the symbol Na. Whenever you see that Avogadro's number is denoted by symbol Na. Later this scientist, what this scientist do? He demonstrated the experimental value of Avogadro's number. He has given the experimental value of this number and that value was 6.022 into 10 raised to 23. A mole of any substance stands for, whenever you see that Avogadro has given the experimental value of his number. So what does it tell? That mole of any substance stands for 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 molecules. That means if you consider a mole of any substance, then it stands as or it stands for 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 molecules. For example, see here a mole of water. Here a mole of water is given. That is 18 grams of water. So whenever you see 18 grams of water contains 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 molecules of water. So what does this tells you? That mole of water, which is 18 gram of water, that is equal to, you can say, Avogadro's number. Which is Avogadro's number here? 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 molecules, that of the, you can say, water. Now next example we are going to see how many molecules are there in 66 grams of a CO2. So what you have to do? First you have to calculate the molecular mass of CO2. So what is the molecular mass of CO2? That is 44. Number of moles in carbon dioxide is given by the formula here. Mass of carbon dioxide in grams upon molecular mass of a carbon dioxide. So whenever you see mass of the carbon dioxide in grams is nothing but 66 and that of the molecular mass of carbon dioxide is 44. That is of C, it is, you can say, 12, and that of the this one oxygen, it is 16 plus 16, as it is O2, it will be 32. 32 plus 12, it will be 44. So N is equal to 1.5 mole. So we get the answer 16 divided by 44 as 1.5 mole. Therefore, 1 molecule of CO2 is equal to 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 moles. We know that, or molecules, we know that. Then 1.5, now this 1.5 we have taken here. 1.5 molecules of CO2 contains 1.5 and you have to multiply this value here. That is nothing but 1.5 into 6.022 into 10 raised to 24 molecule. So we get the answer 9.033 into 10 raised to 23 molecules. The next point is valency. So what do you mean by valency? How do you take out the valency that we are going to see? The capacity of an element to combine, is called as a valency. Now the valency of an element is indicated by the specific number. So the valency of an, you can say any of the element, it can be indicated by the specific number. So valency of elements, each valency is different. So the number of chemical bonds formed by one atom of that element with the other element. So how it is that whenever two elements are going to combine, so what will be there? There will be a number of chemical bonds which are formed by one atom of that element with the other atom is nothing but according to the valency we can give the chemical bonds. Now in 18th and 19th century, law of combination, chemical combination was formed, and in 20th century the relation between the valency and the electronic configuration was formed. Now see here we have taken one example, that is nothing but sodium. The symbol is Na and the electronic configuration is 2A1. So how we have given the electronic configuration, or you can say how we have given or distributed the electrons into the orbits. See here, the first two which is in a K shell, is given as 2 here, 1 and 2. In the next shell there are 8 electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is nothing but the L shape. Now M shape contains 1 electron, so it is given here 1 electron. Then similarly in chlorine, so how it is given, see, in the first shell it is given 2 electrons. In the next shell, that is L shell, we have given 8 electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And in the M shell we have given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 electrons we have given. According to the electronic configuration, we have distributed the electrons. Now what happens, see here. In the outermost orbit of a sodium, there is a 1 electron. So to become stable, it has to donate 1 electron. To become stable means it should contain 8 electrons in its outermost orbit, or it has to attain the stability. For that purpose, it has to donate 1 electron. By donating 1 electron, it becomes sodium ion. So what it will be? Sodium cation. As it donates the electron, it has got a positive charge on it. As electron is negatively charged, after donating 1 electron, it becomes positively charged. So we have got the electronic configuration 1A. Now where he is going, so by donating 1 electron, it has got the configuration, 2 is to 8. So what happens in the chlorine? Now chlorine has got the configuration 287. So to attain the stability, or to attain the octet state, or to become stable, it needs again 1 electron. This 1 electron is accepted by the, you can say, chlorine from the sodium. That means this 1 electron is given into the outermost shell here. So whenever you see, this electron can be shifted here. So what becomes now? As the chlorine gets 1 electron, that means there will be plus 1 electron into the outermost orbit. So it will be chloride ion, that is nothing but Cl minus, and the configuration will become 288. Now what happens actually here? The cation, that is nothing but a Na plus, and anion Cl minus, both are combining to form a compound which is called as a NaCl. Now see here the valency chart. Here I have written some atoms, some elements I have written, some atomic numbers I have written, some electronic configuration I have written, valence electrons I have written, and valency I have written. Now some parts you want to fill them. So we are going to fill that. See here hydrogen, atomic number is 1. The electronic configuration is 1. So valence electrons, that means electrons in the outermost orbit will be 1. So valency will be also equal to 1. Now helium, it is 2. Electronic configuration is 2. Valence electrons are 2. So valency will be 0. As it is a inert gas, we are writing the valency as 0. Next comes lithium. The atomic number is 3. So electronic configuration will be 2 and 1. That means in K shell it will be 2. In L shell it will be 1. So valence electron here in the outermost orbit there is 1. So valency will be also equal to 1. So now next one, beryllium. The formula is, or you can say the symbol is Be. The atomic number is 4. So you can write the electronic configuration as 2, 2. That is 2 plus 2. That is nothing but 4. 2 in the K shell and L in the and in L it is 2. So what will be the valence electrons? The valence electrons will be 2 and the valency will be also 2. Now see here next, the boron. The symbol is B. Now here atomic number is 5. The electronic configuration is 2 and 3. And in the outermost orbit the number of electrons is nothing but 3. And the valency will be also equal to 3. Next comes carbon. So whenever you see carbon, the electronic configuration is 2 and 4. The valence electrons are 4 and the valency will be also equal to 4. Next comes here C. Nitrogen. Nitrogen has the atomic number 7. It has the electronic configuration 2 and 5. But whenever there is more electrons, more than 5 electrons or more than 4, you want to minus this electron, outermost electron from A. That means what you have to do? 8 minus 5 will be the 3 valency of the nitrogen. See here next element, oxygen. Atomic number is 8. So whenever you see the electronic configuration of this, it will be 2 and 6. So therefore the valence electrons in the outermost orbit are 6. But I told you, if the electrons in the outermost orbit are more than 4, you want to minus it from 8. So what you will do here? 8 minus 6. The valency will be 2. Then see here next one, fluorine. The atomic number is 9. The electronic configuration is 2:2, 7. 2, 7. The valence electrons in the outermost orbit are 7. So what you have to do here? 8 minus 7. That is equal to 1. So see here next one, neon. It has atomic number 10. So electronic configuration is 2A. So valence electrons are 8. But if it is more than 4, you have to minus it from 8. So what you have to do? 8 minus 8. That will be equal to 0. Now the valency that indicates 0, it means that this element is present in an inert or it is an inert gas element. Next comes sodium. The atomic number is 11. The electronic configuration is 281. The outermost orbit contains 1 electron. Therefore, the valency is also 1. Next comes magnesium. So what it is? 2A2. So outermost orbit contains 2 electrons. So therefore, the valency is also 2. Next comes aluminium. The atomic number is 13. So electronic configuration will be 2A3. The outermost orbit contains 3. So the valency is also 3. So whenever you consider silicon, atomic number is 14. Electronic configuration is 2a4. The outermost orbit contains 4 electrons. So therefore the valence electrons are 4 and the valency is 4.